Can you dig any deeper now? I gave you all I own, put you on this golden throne, but I'm a little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises, you know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out, 'cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now, a little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises, you know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out, 'cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now, a little stronger now, a little stronger now, a little stronger now, a little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises, you know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out, 'cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now, a little stronger now. Cashed in on my promises, you know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out, 'cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night with BMR. Krista and Monica. Brandi has the night off. Thanks for coming on in tonight for the ever growing and ever popular late night show where anything goes on this show. You know, we talk about all things strange. Tonight's show is entitled Into the Bizarre, and we're going to get into some bizarre talk. Excuse me, tonight. If you're new here, please subscribe to Bigfoot Mystery Rob on YouTube, the Blondes and the Booze Paranormal Podcasts on YouTube, and of course, Monica Rollins, Our Paranormal World. I'm not going through the schedule. I do that during the week. A lot of you know already by now. However, go to our about pages and you can find our schedules in there. And of course, we do broadcast those Monday through Friday across the board. Please subscribe if you're new. Give a like, share. Once again, subscribe. The super chat's open. It's a great way to help support what we do. You can become a BMR pirate. Arr, mateys. Join the many that have joined. It's kind of a fun thing I do. You get, a picture of me with my bandana next to your name in the chat room. So with that being said, excuse me, moving on, I'd like to thank everybody. You know, my new book is out. Bigfoot Mr. Rob presents True Cryptid Encounters, Book 2. It hit Amazon on Monday. Yes, the link is pinned in this chat room. You can find the link on my YouTube page. Thank you for those that bought Book 1. Book 2 is hot off the press. Check it out. Thank you. I appreciate each and every single one of you for that. I really can't believe I got 2 books out in the last 2 years. So I appreciate your support when it comes to that. So thanks very much. I'm going to move on. I'm going to bring up the lovely Krista.
Hey.
And I'm looking at Monica, making sure she's ready. She looks good. She's got the smile going. There she goes. Hi, Monica.
Hey, everybody.
So do you know, I got to say something here. In the last, like how long we've been backstage, you had the music playing for just a couple minutes, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to St. Louis Cardinals is playing tomorrow. My kid's in color guard and they're performing and her band is doing the national anthem. Anyway, I had a friend just ask me that she's big for people who overdose with fentanyl and things like that. She lost a son and so I had put that I was going and she asked me to hold one of the kids who have passed away because the mom can't be here. And it makes me want to cry if I would step in for this mom. And then I just now literally had the mom message me. So I'm going to do that tomorrow.
Wow.
And that's, I mean, it's kind of like, yeah, I kind of feel honored to do it, for a mom to mom, type thing. So,
Heck yeah.
yeah. Anyway. Yeah, in the few minutes that we were backstage, this all took place. So.
Wow, well, things happen. We don't know what to expect in the next 5 minutes. Just like I don't know what to expect in my next 5 minutes. I was telling Krista earlier today. So my buddy's on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
My best friend, who I hate, met him in 7th grade. So he's on vacation. His wife isn't home. 2 kids still live with him at home, but they're not home. So he came over to watch the Detroit Lions preseason football game today and hang out. I'm like, yeah. And I said, hey, I'm going on this show. I did a show with Krista and a few others with Donnie. Donnie Cho says stuff, And I'm like, hey, dude, I got to do this. He goes, yeah, that's cool. So he's hanging out in my yard. My yard's kind of cool set up. So I get done with the show and I go outside. He's still there. And he goes, yeah, I'm getting ready to go home. So he drives home. And so I take like a 45-minute break because I knew I'm coming on here with you guys. And I go outside again and he's in my backyard. I'm like, why? I mean, he didn't even knock on my door, come in, because he typically would just walk in the door, which I don't care. I've known him, forever. Oh yeah, I lost my house key. I said, well, you managed to drive your truck home. Yeah, he says. I go, and the most normal people, don't they have their house key attached to like their car keys? I mean, I do. Yeah, I normally do. I don't know where it's at. I'm like, well, dude, I got a show, coming up again. Hey, no problem. I think I'm gonna just get some crash here. I don't know when. I said, okay, well, again, do what you want. I don't care. So that was just within 5 minutes or so. I thought he went home, then all of a sudden he's here again back in the house.
We had a lot go on in 5 minutes, didn't we then?
Huh?
I said we both had a lot go on in 5 minutes.
Yeah, we did, and then I tell him, I say, hey, look, just because you're on vacation all week, and he lives like 4 blocks from me, that's the thing. Mm-hmm. Don't be, popping over at random throughout the week because you're bored. I got stuff to do throughout the week. I just want you to realize that, So I don't know what we're not going to figure out the lost key dilemma tonight because I'm not going to be in the mood for that. But tomorrow, hopefully, the wife will be home and he can get a key copy or a copy of his key. I don't even know what a wife is. Why she's not home either, right? Mm-hmm. She's out with her girlfriends, I guess. But with that being said, thanks for coming on, you guys.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And thanks to everybody for coming on in.
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate it tonight. I titled this show Into the Bizarre. Tonight's show, we're just going to kind of talk about strange and bizarre things that are going on. And it was funny, Krista, because when we were on Donnie's show for a little bit, we were all talking about stuff. And then Donnie talked about feral people for a little bit and asked me what I knew about him. And I'm like, well, not a lot. And I remembered a story that was sent to me some time ago, and I couldn't quite remember it. So I said maybe I talked about a minute of it. So I said, well, that'd be interesting to start tonight's show with. So I kind of found it and listened back to it. And I think I'm going to start the show with that. It's kind of strange, and before I start though, I'll start with you, Monica.
Mm-hmm.
What is, in your definition? It doesn't have to be out of Webster's. But what is a feral person?
A feral person? In my definition, a feral person is somebody who has either been raised outside of social norms or has abandoned purposefully society and gone to live and doesn't want to adhere to typical social norms.
Right.
Okay.
So somebody who goes not like a prepper, like off in the woods, living off the grid, because they still interact with people. This is somebody who is 100% done with society, living wild, out in Appalachia, let's say.
Right.
Like up in the Smokies.
Yeah.
I like that.
Are a lot of those type of people though, you hear, and I don't know if like I'm stereotyping them, but are a lot of them like maybe inbred and things like that too, that can make them a little out there?
A little feral,
Mm-hmm.
a little wild. Yeah, I mean, I would think, well, I mean, if you get a really close community, you get the inbreeding.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, your actions, I'm sure, can make you
Sure.
feral.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I almost think I'm feral because I go nowhere because I do so many shows every week.
I know the feeling.
So Monica, with your assessment, your definition, a lot of what you just said kind of applies to what I'm going to tell everybody, but at the same time, not really. Krista, that's just the way it rolls, right? And Krista, would you agree with Monica? Do you have anything to add to that yourself?
She described it perfectly, better than I could have.
Well, that's why I love Monica. She really, she's really to the point. In
My explanation would have been really tacky. Hers was very tactful.
It's succinct. I'm
Right.
succinct.
You're very succinct. You said succinct.
Succinct.
Succinct. See, Monica even has the big words.
Got those dollar words, yeah.
No, but I appreciate you, and of course, Krista, and everybody that hops on our show.
Of course.
So anyway, I'm like, yeah, I remember a story that might be like about a feral person, and it was kind of bugging me on Donnie's show. So I'm like, man, I can't remember this.
Mhm.
So when we got done, I told my buddy, go get the hell out of here. He did. Then of course he reappears. Like magic, like Bigfoot, right? He just showed up out of the abyss.
Mhm.
So this was something that I was looking for, trying to find it. Then I found it, and I listened to it really quick. So I'm doing this. I'm just telling the story as I remember it. But this is the Wild Women of Persia. Okay, that's what I titled this story a long time ago, and this takes place in Iran in 1995 in the Erebus Mountains. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Something I gotta fix this a little bit. I don't know if that would work. But anyway, and so there was this village of Iranian people, Persian people, and they lived in the baseline of the hills, the foothills of the mountains. And one night, the villagers are out, about doing whatever villagers do. I don't know. And they notice coming down from the mountains and into the hills, maybe within 200 yards, you see this object, a shadowy figure, maybe not even a figure, just this shadowy object coming down the hills right toward the camp. And they think it's really a kind of a big bear or a bear, and it's on all fours, and it's running down, and it comes into a camp. And it started reminding me of a story I told you guys a couple weeks ago, but this is about the little people. Remember I told you how the little people, remember that story? They attacked, they came from the hills.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, now, is this the same story? So I'm listening to it further, but it's not. It's a singular person as it ends up, because now this person, they realize, is running into the camp. And this person is on all fours, and it happens to pick out, I guess, the trailer that this young lady was staying at with her nanny. Now, the young lady is probably, I think, 5 years old, staying with her nanny, didn't specify where the parents were. And so, but they realized this is not a bear, it's a person who's on all fours, and then the person stands up. Now, when the person stands up, and I do say person, as they described to me, is that it was a woman, maybe about 6 foot tall, very tall, covered in hair. It said had sagging breasts were covered in hair. It was definitely a female, and perched on the left shoulder was a child or an infant child, maybe between a year to 2 years old, perched on her shoulder. And this woman is, and now she explains to me it's a very grotesque looking person. And the baby, well, was no baby that any of us would want as our kid, I imagine. So looking at her and drops her mouth, and her mouth is drooling, opens her mouth real wide, and in the Persian dialect or Iranian verbiage says, reaches out, says hungry, hungry, and reaches out these really long hairy arms, says she's hungry because, as described to me or told to me, the person was on their back trailer porch. They were eating bread and cheese, is what she said. So, and this is the nanny, and again, the nanny of the child is beside her, and this story is coming from the child, okay, from what I recall, and so, and gives the bread and cheese, throws it at this figure because it didn't want to hand it to him because it was so creepy. Threw it on the ground. It picked it up, this pile of bread, ball of bread, a bunch of cheese, scooped it up, and just like an animal, really went back to all fours and darted through the camp or the village and disappeared back up into the hillside. So the everybody gathers around. What? Wow, and they're trying to figure out what had happened because a lot of the people in the distance was watching what was going on around the trailer, right? So they're like, wow, was that a person? What was that? They're trying to figure out what it was. So anyway, the night goes into daytime, and still the village. This is the story about this still was a ringing story for a couple days. Then all of a sudden at night, about a week later, they hear these strange howls and moans coming from the foothills. And now, instead of seeing one dark object coming down into the camp, it's now three. And it's three of these alleged, I guess, feral women, wild women, and all three all looks very similar. All three have children on top of their shoulders. But this time, instead of begging and asking for food, they started rummaging and running through the village, the campsite. It's not a campsite; it's really where they live, you guys. So it's not like they're camping; this is where they live.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, the trailer that the nanny and the young child are staying in, one of the feral women got inside it and snatched up the 5-year-old and disappeared up into the mountains. Okay. Now, the entire village went out searching, never found this child. Again, I don't know if I don't know if they have tribal police. I don't know what they do to, I guess it's not reported. It certainly wasn't reported in the United States. This, of course, is an Iran, Persia area. So, yeah, so it was just a disappearance, a kidnapping of feral woman kidnaps 5-year-old, a girl.
Mm-hmm.
10 years later, coming down from the mountains is this now 15 or 16-year-old girl. Long hair. She comes into the campsite, and she is a wild person. As described to me, almost like a dog, a feral person. couldn't communicate or speak their dialect, would just growl and grunted, and the trailer where now before we know this part of the story, I think you know where I'm going with this. The trailer where the one young girl was abducted from is where this 15, 16-year-old was infatuated with.
Mhm.
The nannies still lived there now with the parents who now had returned from wherever they were a decade later. And then they noticed, and when it was at the footsteps, the doorsteps of this trailer, they recognized that it looked very similar to the young lady that was taken 5 years ago.
Wow.
And then here's the thing, and then it's almost like this feral person or young girl ran into the house and knew exactly where to go when, like, underneath this trap door that they had in the trailer, and hid underneath the trailer, because within about an hour later, from the hills, all these feral women come down searching allegedly for this child that now probably realized what was going on and left them.
Oh no.
So they fought off these women, and it's all women, it's not guys. And this time they did not come down with kids on their shoulders. They were looking for this one person that split. Boom. They fought them off, and eventually this band of wild women, feral women, they disappear back into the mountains, never to return. This feral person, younger adult woman, 15, 16, is still, they find her shaking and shivering. And they are kind of, again, amazed that she knew exactly how the layout of the trailer and how to get into the basement, is when they realized that it was the girl that was taken 5 years ago. So as I'm reading this email, at the end, it's signed by the girl that was captured.
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
And so I sent an immediate email back when I'm done reading you guys. Now, hang on. Are you back with society? Can you obviously you can speak. You type this. Are you pulling my leg? Is this a bunch of BS? I don't know, because I don't know. I mean, who makes up something like that? We've talked about people that maybe fabricate stories for publicity. I never really reported this story. I just thought it was an odd story. So I thought I'd share that tonight and get your thoughts on it, because I still don't know how true that is. I don't know that it's true that the email was from the actual abductee, but maybe it was talked about. Maybe it's from somebody that knew the story and sent it to me, and maybe they just wanted to make it, a little more enticing for me to perhaps post. I don't know. But overall, regardless of that, what do you guys think about that? Bizarre, like the name of the show today is Into the Bizarre. That to me is bizarre.
That's real bizarre. But there's reports of feral people throughout history. Right? That's not an unusual thing. And there's, who's to say that there aren't feral people living up in the hills there, right? In Iran. And, maybe the women are the ones that have to go out and gather things. It's their response. I mean, clearly there's a male somewhere if they had kids on their shoulders. So maybe it's the women's responsibility to go out and forage, and maybe the only thing that's weird to me is, they've got children already. So why would they go out of their way to abduct a 5-year-old?
Bloodline, to add some more into the bloodline, maybe?
Yeah, maybe, but that requires a fair, amount of cognitive thinking in regards to your genetic situation, right? If you've got a lot of inbreeding going on, you have to understand that that's what the issue is, and then go out and search for a solution.
Yeah.
And I was thinking too, like Chris says, a good point, but I was thinking, kind of along those same lines. but yeah, the question is why? Why this specific girl that they saw,
Mhm.
right? And here's my thing though. That's why I asked you what's your definition of feral. It's like they're human beings, right?
Oh yeah.
And they lose. But they're wild people. And if you remember earlier in the story, the first time that this feral woman exposed herself or showed herself, she did speak their language and their
Hmm.
tongue. So it's like, so I mean, why would they? They breed amongst themselves. I'm sure, as you said, there's probably males available. So why decide to kidnap somebody? Was there a connection that she had with this young lady, this young girl, when the nanny threw out the bread and cheese? I don't know.
I don't know
I mean,
either.
why would you do that? There's no reason for them to
The
come
only
out of
thing
the
I
house
could
and
think of
kidnap
would be
somebody.
to, like add into the gene pool myself. But yeah,
That would make sense for sure. But then we would have to then consider like how feral are they if they are
right.
aware enough that the gene pool's this big, we need to expand it, we need to go
Right.
grab somebody. But if that's the case and it is adding to the gene pool, why not take somebody who's immediately available to add to the gene pool? Taking a 5-year-old, you've got to wait that 10 years at least before they're going to be able to breed, right, or produce children to thin out the gene, or expand the gene pool.
Mhm.
So if that were the case, then why not seek out a woman that's already of childbearing age or a teenager or something?
Yeah,
I
and
really
yeah,
think he would be like, because a kid that's 5 years old, you can mold them. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
They're very easily, you can sway them one way or the other. So maybe that was why, where if you would, grab a woman, they're going to fight you. They're going to try
Sure.
to escape the whole time.
Right. Well, clearly the 5-year-old did 10
Right.
years later.
Right.
I mean, and you don't know, like maybe 10 years later, it was time to start popping out kids. And she was like,
Well,
nope, nope.
Could be.
She fought and escaped, would be my.
Yeah.
yeah. So here's my thinking on this, not being a geneticist or a medical guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's DNA is our DNA. I don't think it mutates or transforms unless it's done by science, right? If a scientist actually takes your DNA and manipulates it.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think that over the years that they found, and I think they're intelligent. I don't think that they're thinking DNA, but you think that they were thinking that the children that they are bringing up are just being born more of an animal than a human, and maybe they thought that they should get a purebred human being and capture their DNA for breeding down the road to maybe offset the current gene pool. If that even makes sense, I couldn't tell you if it does.
You mentioned, and I kind of threw up a red flag at the time, that the woman was super hairy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was super hairy.
Like, did she have hair in places like she's not supposed to? Like, I'm talking, like, did you mean like on the face?
Beard.
Yes.
It was
That
super
maybe
hairy
she
woman.
thought
It had hair.
human.
Hair. It does say, like, not to be funny, hairy breasts. It was definitely a woman with sagging, hairy breasts.
Okay,
Is what
so
exactly I
maybe,
got.
and I seen somebody in chat had mentioned it earlier, that Bigfoot have mated supposedly with women. Maybe that's true. Maybe she's part Bigfoot,
Well,
part
a
with having
Bigfoot
the
did
hairy.
mate. Well, you know what? A Bigfoot did mate with a human being, supposedly in Russia.
Mhm.
There's a story about that. And this person was born via a female Bigfoot, and the baby was kept captive in the basement or a cave in Russia. I think a lot of people might have heard that story.
Mhm.
I don't know to remember it 100%, so I'm not going to speak on it, but I did hear that. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm saying, so maybe there's some sort of a, half Bigfoot hybrid, human hybrid. I don't know. That's going way outside the box. So
Well, it's outside the box, but supposedly there's what's the Bigfoot DNA? I always screw this up. There's unknown. It's human and unknown. What they supposedly allegedly say. Did you hear that, Monica? Do you know?
did.
All of the samples that I've ever heard of come back as unknown primate. Just that's it. It doesn't say human and it's just unknown primate.
Yeah, I don't think human and but unknown primate and something undetermined, which they don't.
Well, I mean, unknown primate is pretty well undetermined. It's just that's it. But here's the thing. Okay, unknown primate, sure, or just undetermined. They assume they're contaminated. I think a lot of the time, if it comes back as undeterminable or whatever, they just chalk the sample up as to contaminated, like there's something wrong with it. But without a body or a creature in captivity to run tests on, there's no baselines for anything. So it says unknown primate, sure, but does that necessarily mean it's a Bigfoot? I mean, could be a primate that we haven't discovered yet. There are animals out there, believe it or not, that we have not discovered yet.
I believe
they exist.
Right.
So, I mean,
they did.
I know a lot of people say,
I just saw something the other day about a new frog, undiscovered species they found a week ago. I happened to see on a website.
Right. I mean, let's think like gorillas weren't like a thing, for a very long time. They were just myths. And people were like, nah, that doesn't exist, And and then lo and behold, there they are.
Yeah. I think that was just like in the early 1900s, wasn't that?
Yeah.
When they were discovered. Yeah.
Even with bodies, like a lot of times science won't agree that it's a real thing until you have multiple, because I remembered a story and I forget who told it to me. Somebody, I can't remember if it was Peter Byrne or anyway, it was somebody told me a story about the duck-billed platypus, right? When it was first discovered, these people came back with these stories about this thing. Oh my gosh, it looks like a beaver, but it's got a bill like a duck and it's got, these little claws.
Right.
Yeah, everybody's like, are you smoking? What are you smoking? There's no way that's out there. And then they brought back a specimen to the British Museum and they thought it was a fake. They were looking it over, trying to figure out how they got the bones wild together. They had to go collect multiple samples in order for them to agree.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, that really is something.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought it was a freaky story. I mean, the thing that's okay, let me ask you guys this, which is what I kind of have a hard time with. The email now supposedly, allegedly, was from the young girl that was kidnapped, gone for 10 years, came back. That supposedly was a communication from her. That is the thing, you guys. And again, there's, I believe, a lot of different things. So, again, it just goes back to my background because I never walked in anybody's footsteps, because what happened to me, I still today don't believe it actually happened. So I don't doubt a lot of people, but I'm not a dummy either. But, I just, that's the thing of this whole story. I believe this entire story until it was signed, this feral girl that was kidnapped. And I'm like, okay, now I'm kind of pissed off in a way, to be honest.
Danny has a good point here. I've seen it. Let me find this. Here it is. Ever hear of the, I can't pronounce that word, but yeah, those wolf boys that are covered with hair. That's a good point. It could be something like that too.
Sure.
Doesn't have to be mated with Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So
I believe this happens. I think it does happen. The story I'm going to say is it happened, but I just got thrown at the end. And that's where I was like, oh, should I even tell people this story?
So maybe it was many years ago. Did she say how old she was or anything that,
the email was 1995. It happened in 1995.
When she came back or when she was taken?
Taken.
Okay.
So it would have been 2005. She's had plenty of time to get back to civilization and learn internet and stuff. Why not?
Yeah. I'm curious what happened while she was gone.
Me too.
I want
that story that I want. That was a nice preamble to the story, but I want to know what happened living with these pharaohs.
Yeah.
What
were they? Why were they like
saggy-breasted women in Persia? What happened? 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
I got to email this person back.
It's quite sad, really, because it's a child that was taken from, her home, all she knew. And then, I could only imagine how she was treated with these feral people.
Right.
It's awful. It's traumatic and all kinds of bad things for this poor kid.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you this, if this is in fact true, this person that sent me the email, I will say this. They came a long way. Just put yourself in that situation, you guys. And I know it's hard to imagine, but can you imagine? Hell, not even if you're 5. Well, 5 would be crazy. Let's say you were 13, and you are like in the forest, being raised by feral animal type people for 10 years. I don't know. Your mind's got to. I think you got to be you'd have to be mentally unstable after 10 years when you came back to society. It'd probably take another decade just to get your thought process back in order.
Well, there's so much development that happens in those years that, it would take quite a bit of therapy of all kinds to get rehabilitated, let's say, back into society.
That's a great point, and I'm guessing this too, you guys. And I'm just speculating. When she came back, I don't think this village or this group of people in Iran had the money or the opportunity to give this person the help they needed. Do you?
They might have.
I don't know.
Your dog didn't like something.
Yeah, she's downstairs.
We don't know. That's speculation for sure.
That is speculation. Oh, Granddad's always with the comments. BMR, I don't know. You seem like an Elvis Presley fan. You could have walked in his footsteps. I'm all sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I tell you what, no pun intended, that kind of shook me up a little bit, especially at the end of the email.
So these feral people, though, I'm curious, and I guess I have like I said, typical stereotype, I guess, in my head, of do they have like shelter, or you know what I'm saying? Are they?
Yeah, that's why I want more details, like what took place during this 10-year stretch. Like that's a decade.
That's the story. That's really the story behind the story.
Yeah.
In fact, I didn't even think of that, so I still have this person's email. I'm firing it back to him. I want the follow up to this. I really do.
Yeah.
And then if I get it back, it gives a little more credence to the entire story, right?
If you hear back from them, you call Monica and I, and we have questions ourselves you need to ask.
Yeah, we'll have to go into the conference room.
Keep it all in mind. Granddad's, BMR knows Persian women are pretty. Well, yeah, exotic. Well, okay, Grand, probably. I don't know. Never been there.
They are. They are.
I guess. Well, all cultures are pretty, not just Persians.
Well, he was calling out that one particular. I have to agree. When I worked at Neiman's in my 20s, most of my sales staff was Persian.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
I believe there's a Persian show on Netflix too.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway. So that was pretty bizarre. That's why I named the show The Bizarre. We've been talking Dogman so much the last couple of weeks. I'm kind of want to put that on a shelf for a little while. But even though it's popular and I get it. So, Monica, what I like about Monica, I'm glad that, we met you a few months back and you have a nice perspective and you talk about a lot of things that I'm unfamiliar with. which is
I'm a wealth of useless information.
well, this channel is, it's all a wealth of useless information. Well, it's not useless to our people that follow us, right? Because they love this stuff. And by the way, I appreciate everybody for coming on in. Thank you for subscribing. If you're new, BMR, Krista, and Monica. You can find their links in this description for the channels. So yeah, Monica, what's something that you find to be highly bizarre? It could be a story or something that, or maybe it could be a subject, that you think is like kind of out there and bizarre.
Well, yeah. Well, let's see. This whole community's chock full of it.
Hey, I'm glad Monica said that.
She said it. I was thinking it, but she said it.
It's true. And it doesn't even have to be out there. It's bizarre, right? In a day-to-day context, a lot of what we discuss, people think is nuts. Let's face it.
99%. Yeah, I mean, yes.
Mm-hmm. So bizarre stories. So I can think of one just being put on the spot off the top of my head.
That's what I do to you,
That's cool. I can roll with it.
But, you're not a dummy. You can think on your feet.
I try. So I have a friend that lives here in North Texas, not too far from me. And I might have told you guys in a private chat before, but he was on a friend's piece of property that they had a lot of bizarre things happen on. And we're talking, voices, seeing strange flying things about that big. They reminded me of rods. Do you remember, Krista, like rods from the 90s? That was a big thing, right? It's not really bugs. It's not shaped like a bug. You go frame by frame. It's, Yeah. So he was having things.
See, Monica immediately went to Krista, not Rob, because she knew I did not know what the hell she was talking about. See, Monica, you're on a roll. Keep going.
Intuitive like that.
Yeah. Well, we all are pretty.
Do you know what a rod is?
I think it's that thing that they do when they drum up demons and ghosts and stuff.
No. That's not a rod.
I don't know.
So what rods are, like I was explaining when I was asking Krista, they in the 90s specifically, there was, a lot of camcorders and a lot of home videos around, and people were recording these things flying around them. And they do kind of look like bugs, but when you would slow it down in a frame by frame shot, these things were not bugs. They were not bugs. And they were just called rods because they were typically long and cylindrical in shape. Like a rod. Yeah. And anyway, he on this property that his friend owned, he would have some things. He has footage that he sent me where he's slowing it down, and it looks like a rod, right? And there's all this bizarre activity going on. Well, his friend sells the property, and it's the last weekend that he's going to be on this property. And he is out kind of hiking in the woods at night. And he was by himself. I don't know where his friend was. He'd gone to his new place, I guess, to pick a haul or whatever. So my friend's walking around at night, just, he's the type that will go onto property and just talk to whatever is there, which is great because you're going to get all kinds of answers if it's active. And he turns around and looks, and he sees this light come on, and he's recording. This is recorded. There's a light that just comes out of nowhere, and it looks almost like a headlamp shining down onto somebody's face. And you can see them, like, it looks like a face, like just the nose and maybe the cheeks, and then a little bit of the chest, right? And it's moving. And then I don't even think it turns slightly, but it appears to step into a portal. And now when you're watching it at regular speed, it just blinks out, but the way it blinks out is weird, right? It's not like a light turns off. It's like a closing of something. So when I first saw it, I was like, well, that's somebody with a headlamp, and they just turned the headlamp off. And then, but right. there was something odd about it. So I'm playing it. I play it in slow motion. I go frame by frame by frame, through the video. And it does look like this thing gets near a tree because you can see a shape beside it. And it seems like it steps into the tree and it closes. Like the light doesn't just blink out. It does this.
Right.
And I'm thinking, holy crap. It looks like, I mean, I know I talk about layered dimensions and I think things can poke through from dimensions, but, being rational minded, it's still like talking about portals is difficult for me.
Right.
It really did look like it stepped into something that closed like that.
Wow.
And that was weird. And I don't have an explanation for that.
I don't think
That's
there is
pretty
an
bizarre.
I don't think that is bizarre, Monica. And I got to tell you what, the portal thing, I know it's tough, but Krista, you recall, we just had Trey Hudson on Tuesday, on portals.
Yeah.
And I seen his presentation live in Alabama and he showed me personal captures. And Krista, I tell you what, he makes a good argument that portals exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I think that they probably do because I do think that there's multi-dimensions all around us. I do think we have a layered dimension and things can poke in and poke out and poke in and poke out. But seeing something like that and being like, oh,
no, I mean, and I think that God is so bizarre, and I hate to refer to me sometimes that I do. It was like when I saw myself in the chair when I'm on the ground crawling, and I turned back and saw myself in a chair. That had to be a dimensional thing. I mean, I don't think that was a portal, you guys, but it was, like you say, was I in a different realm of reality? And I'm not, like,
yeah. Like they're layered, like it's thin. So you're seeing through. Yeah. I mean, that's plausible. It's a glitch in the matrix. Maybe we're all in a simulation and that's just a glitch in the matrix too.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know either. It's all weird stuff to me.
Yeah. When I got involved with this 5 years ago, whatever, it's almost like, why did I start doing this?
Because it's cool.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That's the number one reason, really. It is very cool.
I think it is.
Oh, I do. I
love being weird. Like, I love being weird.
I've always been weird, and I always say on the shows, we embrace the weird. We embrace the weird because the weird, frankly, it's not weird to us. It's just weird to those other people that, don't believe in anything, right?
All the stiff normies.
Boring.
Starched people.
Yeah.
I got to tell you guys, when I got married, I married a woman whose family were millionaires.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so ecstatic about marrying this girl. And I think I loved her family more than her.
Did you love them as people or for the money?
I love that. I love the fact they were richer than rich can be.
At least you're honest.
I immediately was a member of the country club with my own placard. Oh boy, yeah! I felt like a male gold digger.
You gigolo.
Well,
yeah, there you go.
But here's the thing: it was honest love, you guys. I did not know she was rich the first 6 months I dated her. At least her mom and dad.
We'll give you that.
Well, 6 months before I felt, I always thought it was strange. That's why she would never let me meet her dad. Because I think she just thought I guess I always was kind of a weirdo anyway. And then when I found out what I found out, I immediately fell in love. 6 months later, I asked her to marry me.
Wow.
And then 7 years later, I said, okay, time to go.
Done.
Yeah.
Ding, we're done.
So I guess it wasn't love. It was fabricated.
Maybe it's started out as love.
Listen, you can be in love with somebody, and as you grow, it is fine that you grow apart. I think that that's very normal.
Well, you know what? To be honest with you, I don't want to sound like a total pig. I I was infatuated with the money. I always said I wanted to be a millionaire, and sure enough, I took the easy route. I'm not a millionaire today. No, don't get me wrong. But but I loved her for 3 years. The last 4 years, I was planning the departure, and I was such a cool guy that she cheated on me in year 5 of the marriage. What I found out from her best friend, and I still stuck with her for 2 years. So I was nice. I was good about it.
Squirrel holed a nest egg. I would have.
I was, I
would have squirrel holed.
How do you guys think I bought a bar?
Well, I was going to say,
sign a prenup.
well, that's what Lolo just asked. She said, did she make you sign a prenup?
Well, it was mom and dad's money. I mean, she didn't get. I believe she had to work for her money. Her mom and dad made her work.
No,
mom and dad.
Yeah.
But they loved me more than her, which was the thing that I loved. The family they loved is Rob coming over. They would say to my wife, "What do you mean is Rob coming over?" They didn't invite her, me. Just like the cats loved me. Her mom and dad loved me.
Sounds like she was a problem.
Yeah.
She was a problem. And then, of course, she did the dirty on me. So then I planned. I meticulously planned, and just what happened. Now it's a sad story, everybody, but I'm not a jerk. She was a jerk to me first. I had jerk intentions.
Have you heard from her or know what she's up to today?
When I first bought my bar, she had one drink left, never saw her again. I don't even know where she lives today. I know that she married the dude she cheated on me with, though.
Okay.
Yeah. Who was, by the way, her boss of her job when we were married. I was naive. She always went away for the weekends on her boat because it was business.
Yeah.
Until her best friend, who liked me, said, "You know what she's doing, don't you?" I go, "I don't believe it. Don't want to hear it." So I was kind of put it in denial for about a year because no one cheats on a BMR. And I wasn't known as BMR at the time, by the way. But yeah, so it kind of hurt me. I'm sorry, for giving my personal things, everybody. But yeah, so I started being the jerk, but ended up being jerked on. So there you go. It happens for a reason, everybody. Yep. Life happens for a reason, and I can't be happier today. I will say that.
Good deal.
So
it was a learning point, right? It was a learning point.
It was, life's a learning.
It was a lesson.
The great about life is lessons are to be learned, and it depends on the person. I could have went to a stupor and not recovered. I saw my other girlfriend died after seeing Bigfoot. I could have went to a stupor, and I did for 6 months, but I pulled myself out of it. So I've had some challenges, much like we all have in life, and they're all life experiences.
Yes.
Now we're turning out to the show this is turning into, but it's life experiences. Either you float or sink in the world today, right?
Sink or swim.
Yep.
Sink or swim. Thanks for correcting me once again. But
That's every job experience I have ever had. Right. My entire life. It's toss Monica in there and she either makes it or she doesn't. And Monica makes it. Let me
I think all of us have made it, I mean, and it's great. I'm happy today. I've always been a happy dude anyways, and it's just the way it goes. And so I guess that story I told was kind of bizarre, right? You never know where life goes. And you know what I find bizarre is something that Krista always sends me these things that she knows are going to freak me out. She knows that I have problems with nightmares, but she doesn't care. She does. She does care. I just say that lovingly. I know you care. But you sent me this. Now you sent me this a while ago, and we haven't brought this up in a long time. But these are some of the things that scare the hell out of me. Bigfoot don't scare me. Dogman don't scare me. Ghosts scare me. Demons scare me. And when you sent me this, it scared the hell out of me.
That is taken on
like the Watchers.
Oh boy.
Taken on at Zombie Road outside of St. Louis off Lawler Ford Road. And you can see the people there, but you don't see their reflections.
No, you don't see the
Mhm.
reflections at all, and you definitely see humanoid-looking
Yep.
figures standing
And
along.
honest to God, if I didn't know the person that took this picture, I would say it's fake. But there's nothing fake about this man. He is known for his pictures that he's taken, and he's even won awards. And that is a true legit pic. The people were not there with the naked eye.
Mm.
I mean, that's like a band of half a dozen people there.
Mm-hmm. Zombie Road is a very, very known haunted location in St. Louis. You can't go in after dark. And actually, just to go there, we inquired about it, and I think it was like $200 an hour after dark. So, yeah.
So, what's the history behind that Zombie Road?
Oh, there's a lot of different old wives' tales. It's along what's called the Merrimack River, and the Merrimack means River of Death, and that was named by the Indians that lived in that area. So it's known for like the haunted. A friend of mine actually saw what he believes is a Bigfoot crossing the river right there also. So once again, you have ghosts, you have, Bigfoot, you have, more than one thing happen. And supposedly there was a, I don't know if you want to call it an insane asylum or whatever there, but supposedly somebody, broke out of the insane asylum's old tales, and went and killing people on Zombie Road. And a lot of people have been down there, and there's been a lot of satanic stuff done down there. So,
Bryce Edwards asked,
there.
Bryce Edwards lives in St. Louis. Yes, where's Zombie Road at? Or what part of St. Louis, if you can tell? Missouri?
It's off Manchester Road.
Okay.
Message me. I'll tell you exactly where it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to pull up one more time, you guys.
And it is during the day. It's an open park. People go there. They walk. I did a live during the day. Me and my kids went and walked it. And, so you can go there. And then it's just at night that I sent you another one on Zombie Road too with the bridge. Do you have that one? The guy on the bridge?
I didn't keep them all. Not on this. I don't have them. Okay. I might have them in my phone.
Yeah. There's a lot of crazy pictures there at Zombie Road. A lot of orb pictures in the woods, and back in the day, I was. Yeah.
You know what I find creepy about this too is, again, if it looks like a family of lost souls, that's just what my mind is telling me. And look how the background where there's just it's a cloud, appears to be cloudy, overcast, but there's a little break right there in the center where light is allowing to illuminate the background.
Yep.
And when you look into the water, you see that reflection in the water, but you do not see the apparitions.
Right. Pretty crazy picture.
That is crazy. Crazy.
And like I said, if I did not know the person that took these pictures that you're showing, I would have, said, no, there's no way. But Tom Holstead, he actually passed away in 2013. He was only 39 years old, and he had a brain aneurysm. And he was on my paranormal team, and we did a memorial there at Zombie Road because he went there a lot, and he captured these great shots. And so we have a bench there. We put up together, and we put a bench there in his name. It's got his name on it and everything. It's really cool.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It is nice.
Yep. And Grandizer, if you've got like $200 an hour to do a investigation, that is what the city charges to be there after dark, and it is police maintained at night. They don't want anybody in there.
Wow,
that's interesting.
Yep. I think it's very interesting. That was a motorcycle.
Lived in the middle of nowhere.
It just, Anyway.
Oh, was that you or was that Rob?
That was me. That was a motorcycle just went by.
Oh, but
he jumped and looked over his screen.
Yeah, no, I mean, these headphones are pretty good, and I hear very well through these. I can't hear anything around me with these, but everything that we talk and hear in the background, I pick up, boom, like a champ.
Well, there's a long stretch straightaway here in front of my house, so like all cars and motorcycles, they get on it like right here in front of my house.
Me too. It drives me nuts.
Yep, me too. Yep.
I'm still kind of far from the road to get cars or
Mhm.
hear them. But there's another one, man, that I tell you what,
It was
this
also
one,
taken by Tom Halstead.
yeah, that gets me. That
That
gets
is
me.
at Waverly Hill Sanatorium, and I believe that was taken in
And
2006.
before you say anything more about it, I like to tell you my take on this is look, I cannot, I've seen ghosts in my lifetime, as most people know. Many, many ghosts. Remember the ghosts at my bar?
Yeah.
Okay, now this is more solid than they were. And this is almost, to me, looks almost like an actual person, really.
Yep.
I mean, it's so full
Yeah.
of life. It's actually full of life. It's not even,
Mhm.
if
So,
I didn't know this was a ghost, this thing was a person standing there,
right.
to be honest with
So,
you.
so the thing with Tom is that he would just get like a gut feeling, and he would just start snapping a bunch of pictures, and he didn't see her with his eyes. And that one was taken in 2006, I believe. He's taken quite a few more, and I can send them to you. He's just
Yeah,
one
I'd
of,
like to check him out one day. You can do that.
yeah. Somebody asked about Zombie Road. Do I have $200? It's $200 an hour, Grandizer, not just $200.
They really don't want you out there.
No, no. I pay $200. I'm not paying $200 an hour.
You don't, or you would.
Not $200 an hour. I would pay
No.
$200 in general, for the whole night or something. Heck yeah,
Oh,
that's sweet.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thanks, Bryce, for that. Buying my new book on Friday, says Bryce. Thanks for everybody for buying the new book. Yeah, well, I guess it's a good segue into that. I got book 2 is out. It's out. It was out Monday. Thanks to everybody that bought it. You can find all you need to do is type Bigfoot Mystery Robin on your Amazon browser. The link is also posted here, and of course on my YouTube channel. Thank you to everybody, and thanks for buying book 1 as well. Because hell, if book 1 did crappy, I wouldn't have made book 2. So thank you.
Yep.
My third book's gonna be about my life, you guys. I've decided my weird life.
Because
It'll be a
you've got a
novel.
lot of strangeness.
I got a lot of strangeness in my lifetime,
You
and
do.
it'll be double the thickness of these books. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I'm taking a break from that. I'll wait until I'll get motivated right around Halloween, I think.
There you go.
There you go.
But Krista, you guys, I know you guys looked into this. You know that place I was telling you about in Michigan? I just saw it again. Eloise. Eloise, man. We fired when I was a kid, and I was not into the paranormal or Bigfoot or nothing. I was in my 30s.
Yep.
And me and a couple girls, broke into Eloise because it was quartered off for demolition, right?
Yep.
Because it's a horrible place. I found that there was a unmarked graves of over 7,100 people died there, and they have no names associated with them. They're just unmarked graves. So when you walk through this huge field, you're walking on the dead, basically. That's
Wow.
just one part of this creepy place.
Well, and
Which
I
I
heard
just found this
one of
out.
the floors is supposed to be like really, really bad. Like they say,
Number
that
5
demonic entity. Yeah, I think it is like the 5th floor.
It's the 5th
Yeah.
floor. We went into the basement because we went over the barbed wire. We cut it. We had snippers. We really had a lot of. We broke in basically, and
Wow.
we cut through the fence, and we rummaged around and got beneath it. We went down there, and now 2 of the girls I was with were actual quote unquote ghost hunters. They're nothing today. It was a fad, and that was, again, this is like 20 years ago. So
Yeah.
and I went with my one friend. And so yeah, we went in there. We had back in the day, we had those throwaway cameras. Kodak Kodak still had like the little shops on the corner where you could
Mm-hmm.
just drop your stuff off to get developed. Yeah. So we had the throwaway phones, which you could bring to the beach. They were waterproof, so we bought those. And so we're all in here. We're just firing off all these pictures. I think we got them all developed. There was like 50 total pictures. And nothing appeared on any of them. We didn't see anything. All the pictures came back black, or there was like the back The background was the flash somehow came back at us, but nothing paranormal, nothing haunting, until one of the last pictures we found was an apparition of a person sitting up in a surgical room on a gurney, staring back on the picture.
Wow.
And I just seen they have a documentary on it. Again, the guy we watched, Expedition X, with the Josh guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
They've got the 2-part series on that, and it's the most compelling show they've done, because number one, it's an hour from me in the state of Michigan, and they uncover it so much. And in that show, you guys, on that level 4, they literally, unless they're great actors, they were scared all to heck on
Wow.
that show.
Wow.
Eloise. And I think you told me it's like 500. And now they've made it a place where you can go now. You know, they made a tourist attraction.
Yeah, I think a guy bought it, and then he's got a daughter that kind of runs it, if I remember.
Yeah, and she's always, and they will let you do an investigation there, but it's going to cost you much, like, I'm pretty sure it's close to what you're talking about on the previous.
I think it's like $1,000. But here's the thing:
Yeah.
the place is big enough. You get 10 people together, and that's $100
Yeah.
a piece. So you break it down, that's not bad.
Yeah. No, $1,000, 10 people. I'd gladly do that.
Yeah. For sure.
So I think as much as I hate ghosts, this got to be on the bucket list to do.
Yeah.
there you go.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
Mhm.
just got to do it.
Absolutely.
We just have to do it.
Absolutely. I'm trying to look for, there's, Tom also captured the Blue Man, and I'm trying to find that video, but I'll have to find that and put it on. We can talk about it one night, and that's a really cool video. I found a picture of the Blue Man. I can put that on here, but
Oh yeah, cool.
yeah. So keep talking. We'll let me get it put on the show here for you, but it'll take me a minute to do.
I can't imagine, you know, if we go back to Eloise for a moment, and this is, and in fact, they went to the records. It was in Westland, Michigan, and there's a historical museum dedicated just to Eloise, and a lot of the artifacts from Eloise are inside this historical museum, and they keep all the records there. And yeah, and during the show that I was watching, and then I looked it up online and stuff like that. Can you guys imagine 7,100 people not accounted for, no families know about, or anything at all?
And
Unmarked.
how far
Their
is
graves.
that spread over?
Pardon me.
What period of time is that spread over?
Is it? No,
that's
this is
still a lot of
the
people.
1890s and 1920s
Okay.
during
So
that time
years,
period.
roughly.
Yes. And but the thing about Eloise, what makes it creepy is people were experimenting. If you were on the mental, if you were deemed mentally insane, see what happened a lot during that time period. If you were married and you thought your wife was nuts, all you had to do was tell these insane asylums you were a nutcase, and they would take you in shackles, and you were never seen again. And they would experiment on you. You know, we thought that Hitler's entourage of Heinrich Himmler, who experimented on people. Hey, man, they did it in the United States, right here in my state of Michigan. That Eloise has been there in Michigan forever. And they performed what do you call the brain experiment on the brain. They did the waterboarding stuff. They did all these atrocities of people.
Yep.
And when they died, they just threw them out.
Yep. It's true.
Yeah.
You know,
It's awful what they did.
so that's why I'm really intrigued by this place, since it's here in my backyard. I mean, it's an hour away, but, but can you imagine? I can't imagine living back in those days where that stuff was allowed. And the poor families to this day that don't know anything about their ancestors.
Yeah.
Sad, isn't it?
Yeah, it is sad.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't
Yeah.
it?
Eloise, that was not a good place. at all.
Yeah, Deborah Mueller says patients were considered wards of the state. They were the state's property. They could do whatever they wanted with them. Hey, isn't that? Think about that statement. I'll let everyone read it, I guess. But that's creepy, man. That's not right.
Right. Not at all. I'm getting these pictures real quick. I got a couple others here. Hold on. Almost got it.
That's cool.
Almost got them done, and I'll get them put on your show here. All right. They're not letting me access the video, but I got the breakdown of it. I can show it to you. And this is, it's pretty cool. Oh, wrong one, wrong picture. So, hold on. Such a pain in the butt because how you got to see them all,
So while we're waiting for that, Monica, what's your thoughts on these, like the afterlife and these ghosts? Have you ever? Okay, let me ask you this. Forget about that question. Have you ever come across a ghost experience or something that was an apparition in your lifetime?
Oh yeah, many times.
Oh, fantastic!
Many times. Yeah, when I was a child, I saw what I thought was a ghost, right? And it was like this blue kind of glowing mist in the hallway where we lived. And I would see it from time to time. I had an experience when I was very young. I'm going to guess I was like 4 or 5 years old, where I was asleep one night and the shadows were on my wall and the shadows were moving. Like they were taking forms and then changing forms. Like I remember it was a lady in a rocking chair and then she got up and walked across the wall. And I remember, and I know I wasn't dreaming because I remember getting up, and when I was a little girl, we had the washer and dryer in the hallway and they were folding like 1970s, the French like doors that would fold. And I went and hid in there. I remember hopping up and sitting on the washing machine and closing the doors and my dad finding me there, and I was getting scolded for not being in bed. They thought I was trying to sneak into the living room when really I was just trying to get out of
there. Right.
Yeah. Wow. And, I've seen, I remember seeing a stork at the end of the bed, or what I thought was a stork at the time because my mother was pregnant, but it was a big white glowing bird at the foot of the bed. And it all happened in this condo that my mom and dad lived in. I used to call it the cottage because I didn't know the word condo. So it was the cottage. And then, throughout my life, I've always seen and heard weird things. And I've always seen, the shadow people, no matter where I am, or no matter where I live, I should say. And I remember the first full body apparition I saw was actually right before I moved to Texas. I had seen an apparition. My mother had driven north to Crescent City to pick up some cousins, and it's quite a round trip. I want to say it's like 6 hours at least one direction and then turning around and coming back. And she wasn't due to be home quite yet. It was still a few hours before she would come back. And I was with my stepfather and my stepsister, and we were in a Victorian home on the top floor. So you had to, first of all, the driveway was gravel, so you could hear the crunching, when a car would come into the driveway. Then the stairs up to the second level where the front door was were rickety. Like you could hear them creaking with anybody. Like if the wind blew, they would creak. And I just remember I was sitting in the chair and my stepsister was sitting next to me and my stepdad was asleep like on the floor. We were watching movies and I happened to look over at the big picture window because the door was here and there's a giant picture window next to it. And I saw a hand, and it was it was a female hand, reach out and knock like tap, 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 like on the window. And I got up and I was running, because I thought my mom was home. And I went running, and I remember I was reaching for the doorknob, and I went like this because my mother is very dark complected. She's native, so she's got that deep, red brown skin. And what I saw was pale. It was ghostly white. I mean, it was and kind of slightly luminous. And I remember thinking, hold on, that's definitely not my mom. And then I remember thinking, I didn't hear her car drive up, and I didn't hear anybody come up the stairs. So I remember trying to look out the picture window, and there wasn't anybody, on the landing. And I thought that kind of freaked me out. I woke my stepdad up, and I want to say he opened the door and looked around, and there wasn't anybody there.
Wow.
Then the full body apparition I saw when I was 19. But then I've seen the phantom cars. I've seen
a little bit of everything.
I've seen all kinds of stuff.
Wow. Very cool.
Well, good. I'm very glad to know all this because now my head is spinning future shows. Thank you for the information, Monica. But, I tell you what, though, Monica, it is something Krista knows. Seeing ghosts for me are just crazy. I used to not even believe, and I saw ghosts early on in life that I didn't believe were ghosts because as little kids, when I saw my first ghosts as little kids, Mom and Dad said I was dreaming until I woke up, and realized that they weren't dreams at all.
Right.
So yeah.
I threw 3 pictures on there. You want me to pull them up real quick?
Yeah, pull them up.
Okay, so this one here was taken at Zombie Road 2 by that guy Tom Halstead. Do you see that figure right there in front of the bridge?
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
No, I don't see anything. And I'm seriously looking at it. I'm not kidding you.
The big black
blob.
Oh, that black square?
Yeah, the blob.
Oh,
there was nothing there when he took the picture.
Oh.
And he spent a lot of time at that bridge, and the bench memorial is actually right by the bridge. And then he also took this picture. This was not at Zombie Road. This was a private case.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Yeah. He just would get this feeling, and he would just start snapping a bunch of pictures. This next one I'm going to show you is it's on their website, and I can't open up the video. It won't let me open up the video because I'd like to show you the video. And it was on Fact or Faked, and with Josh Gates, and they deemed it to be fact. And this was one of the cameras that was at Tri-County Truck Stop outside of St. Louis, and we call it the Blue Man. And this was taken in the basement. But you can see the photos here, frame by frame, where there's nothing, where you can see each frame where he walks in and out of the. You see how he moves in the frames?
Well, yeah, that blue is definitely moving because the light source that's in the background is constant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, we call him the Blue Man, and he haunts Tri-County Truck Stop in the basement.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and we actually I keep saying we. It's not my team anymore, but they have the video, and it's on their website, and I really don't want to promote them. So,
yeah, well, things happen, like I said, in life, right, Krista?
Right, that's it. So, but yeah, and it wouldn't let me put the video where I could play it on here for you guys. But yeah, it's just really interesting, and that was also captured by one of Tom's cameras. But that was down in the basement rolling. He wasn't down there or anything like that. He just had a knack for this stuff. It's crazy.
Absolutely. You two carry on for just a second, okay? I got to check on my idiot friend. He's doing something stupid upstairs. Hang on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good to be Rob's friend.
Wow. Doing something stupid upstairs. Is he drinking or?
Yeah, I know. Like what prompted that? Anyway.
Yeah. So how far are you from Missouri? You should really come to our event in October at the Ray County Museum.
That would be cool. I want to say I'm like 4 hours, something like that. Yeah, I would have to put it in because I'm in North Texas on the border with Oklahoma.
Yeah, you'd have to see how far you are from like the Kansas City area.
Kansas City. Let me take a look.
We'll put in Richmond, Missouri.
Richmond, Missouri.
Yeah, because that's where the museum is. And yeah, you should come to and do the ghost hunt with Brandi and I. And that's at October, I think 26th or 29th, whatever the last Saturday in October is. When it is. Let me pull my calendar up.
You know, if I could just type, that would be
It's October 26th, Saturday. Yeah. If you
I would love to.
if you're a driving kind of gal.
I am actually. I am. There we go. Richmond, Missouri is 417 miles from me. And if I go right now, let's see how long Waze says it will take me to get there. 7 hours and 4 minutes. That's a whole day's worth of driving, but I've driven longer in a day. Yeah. Now, when I would go visit my friend in, she lived just south of Memphis. It took me about that long to get to her house. So that's, for a weekend trip, that's nothing.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome to come to the museum that weekend.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So if anybody's interested, tickets are on sale now under Eventbrite. Just type in Blondes and Booze and tickets come up.
And everybody should go.
Yeah, and we'll keep trying to twist Monica's arm.
Twist Monica's arm.
Yeah.
I miss that, of course, but it's never. I invite anybody to spend 1 week at this house because it's always entertaining. You know, I just told you not a half hour ago I can't hear anything through these headphones, and I literally cannot. Mm-hmm. Until I just went away. I heard a boom and a crash, which I heard. It was loud. So this was a doozy. Idiot buddy of mine is coming down the stairs. Lights are on the stairs. He slipped and fell and crashed to the bottom of the staircase.
Is he okay?
I don't care.
Well, I mean, you don't want a dead body in your house. You've already got a problem. So.
Rob, I'm sorry, man. He's limp. He went outside to smoke a cigarette. And I saw him watching. He's limping around. He screwed up his hip.
Oh.
So he's on the phone trying to get a hold of his wife now. I said, good. Get the hell out of here now. I don't need to take you to emergency room.
Drag him out on the front porch and leave him.
Luckily, yeah. You know,
Go sleep in your truck. Throw him his car.
Yeah, you know, he's got his truck here. His wife, he lives 4 blocks away. He's trying to get a hold of his wife for the last 2 hours. And it's not bad, you guys. It's just she went out with the girls, and she doesn't go out hardly ever. So yeah. So
she don't want to answer the phone. I don't blame her.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Not if you don't.
If you like you broke your leg, you're just gonna have to wait.
Well, you know, I met my best friend in 7th grade. This guy, his name's Brian, and his wife. I met her name is Sandy. I met her in 9th grade. So I've known them both for that. She's like for a girl. She's my other really good friend for a girl, right? Yeah. So. I know them like this. I'm godfather of all 3 of their kids. And yeah, I know she's not going to answer the phone because she doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So that's why he's hanging out over here because he's on vacation. And like I told him earlier, I'm working all week, so you just can't be bebopping over.
Yeah.
But he's the guy with the pool that I put in the pool with. And this whole week is going to be 90 degrees and sunny. So I'll be probably doing some hanging out over there, of course.
Wow.
As the summer, I can't wait for the summer to end. I'm ready for football. As you guys know, I'm ready for football. So he is okay. He's walking around and he won't come downstairs. I was going to have him, hey, get on the show. Show everybody how stupid you look. No, I'm not doing that. But anyway. So, yeah. So you have something coming up, Krista. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Boom.
And snake thrower.
That's me. I'm the old snake thrower.
Thanks, Josh, for that. Josh Turner.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josh.
Hey, Josh.
Yes, Josh calls me Boomer. For those that did not know, yeah. One of my many acronyms that I go by. So
right.
That's pretty nice, though. I mean, I've been called worse than snake thrower.
That's funny.
This has been a fantastic show. Fantastic. I appreciate everybody for coming on in tonight. Talking about the bizarre, and this was kind of a bizarre show. a bizarre showing right toward the end with my idiot friend. You know, always something going on at this household, you guys. I swear.
Brian, go home. Just tell him, like, Brian.
Well, I didn't want to. I know I hate leaving the camera on you guys just because that's my thing, and I normally have to leave at least once a week because of things that happen around here. It's like Grand Central Station. I guess I mean, I'm loved. I'm loved by everybody.
That's right. And you're so modest about it.
Right?
I'm a very humble guy. You know that, Monica. You see my texts.
I do.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. And thank you for refraining any commentary. I appreciate it. So, Monica, for people that don't know, subscribe to Our Paranormal World. Monica Rollins. She's on Thursday nights after the Blondes and Booze at 11 o'clock in the East, 10 Central.
Correct.
And what you got going on that channel? Anyways,
what I got going on? What I got going on? I got a lot going on. So turn on the old razzle dazzle. So yeah, I mean, we just talk about whatever pops in our head. So it's me and Breezy right now. It's me and Breezy has been kind enough to grace me with his presence on Thursday nights. He's helping me with the show, and we talk about whatever's on our minds. And I'm also going over onto his channel on Friday nights and helping him out in kind. So it's just a lot of fun. It's just two people chit chat, kind of like we're doing.
Yeah.
Similar thing. And I also put out the shorts about all different kinds of things that Rob has no idea about until I talk.
Yes, I know. That's why I'm glad you're one of my late night co-hosts, because Monica Rollins has these shorts on all over social media. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what in the hell is she talking about? I've got to investigate this now. So now my head is spinning for future shows with Monica. Certainly save them for your show, but this is late night, right? You know, and it's great things to talk about. I'm glad we didn't, I'm glad this show was different tonight because, we always talk about the cryptids and stuff, but let's face it, all these things are connected. Paranormal, cryptids, time travel, UFOs. I mean, everything, they're all connected. I think a lot of them are in the same realities, or they blend, in these realms, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why I find this subject matter fascinating. Mm-hmm. And that's why, there's always subject matter we can come up with.
Sure. You're going to love my next short. It's going to be The Wild Hunt. So,
The Wild Hunt.
Let's talk about The Wild Hunt.
Cool.
Well, I'll be interested in
Do you know what it is? Is that going to be another one you're unfamiliar with?
Well, The Wild Hunt, if that's supposed to be a familiar statement, I'm unfamiliar.
Okay.
Unfamiliar.
Okay.
So yes, I'll look forward to your short.
Well, thank you.
So today is Sunday morning, and all our shows start back up on Monday. And Krista, when I was gone, I did briefly hear you say something. Are you promoting something? Are you going to be somewhere next weekend or
next weekend? It's October 26th. Mm-hmm. Brandi and I are doing an event at the Ray County Museum. We're doing a Paranormal 101, a Cryptid 101 during the day. We'll feed you dinner, and then that night is an overnight ghost hunt.
Very good, very good. And
when we do it to, we're not pocketing the money ourselves, so I don't want people to think that we donate that to the locations for historical preservation. Yep,
that's awesome.
And if it wasn't for the ghost hunts during the C word when that was all going around hot and heavy, the museum would have had to close. But when the ghost hunts is what kept the place open and kept the lights on. So
that's a great cause. Great cause. That's awesome. And before we leave, my new book's out. Bigfoot Mystery Represents True Cryptid Encounters, Book 2. Thanks to everybody that bought Book 1. Leave a review. This hot off the press Monday, for those that bought it already, thank you so much for that. So you can find that on Amazon. Type in Bigfoot Mr. Rob on your Amazon browser. The link is pinned here, and the link is also on my YouTube page. So thanks in advance. And I know a couple people in chat commented and said they bought it. Thank you. Love you guys. I love all the participation tonight. We have a great chat room, as I always make mention. And I also always have to make mention of this. I always say I love the people in chat, and I do. But it's the people that are watching now, right, Krista? Like I discovered how to do that. We had 83 people in chat, now 79. As I know a lot of people know, we're wrapping it up. But there's 439 people listening live right now.
That's great.
That's
not
awesome.
including chat, which is fantastic. So you people listening, wherever you're listening from, whatever device, just because you do not participate in chat, you're always welcome, and I'm very grateful for your support and subscribing. So thank you for all of that. Thank you for everybody for coming in. It was a great show. Don't forget, subscribe to the Blondes and the Booze Paranormal Podcast on YouTube. Monica Rollins, Our Paranormal World, and of course, Bigfoot Mr. Rob found on YouTube. With that being said, I can't wait to see you guys next Saturday at midnight. Hopefully, Brandi will be feeling a little bit better for our third wheel. Well, my three ladies, and of course, good old BMR. With that being said, what I got to do is find the extra button. I got so much stuff in this now.
Bring Donnie on. He'll find it for you.
Yeah.
Donnie can find just about anything I found out.
Yes. Yes.
Love y'all. Thank you.
See y'all.
Bye.